will not work. Reason one was empirical. It didn't work. The Federal Reserve was unable to reverse the Great Depression. The Federal Reserve, all the stuff they did with the money supply had no effect on unemployment. Therefore, it's not working. Now, why it didn't work? Because of a liquidity trap. Let's go back to what happened in the Great Depression. What set it all off? A banking crisis. It was set off as a financial crisis on Wall Street, but that brought down a lot of banks. So banks now don't want to loan money out anymore. The banks aren't loaning money out. That means that credit is drying up for businesses. And businesses start to disappear. That, in turn, means that the economy goes down, people get scared. What do they do with their money? Do you put it in a bank? No, the banks are disappearing. Do you go spend it? No. So where do you put it? Put it under the mattress or something. This is the only time I'm going to bring, well, in other words, what's happening to the velocity of money? It's becoming zero, or at least it's going down. Money is being withdrawn from the economy. In that situation, note, a decline in money will do this. A decline in velocity will also do it. And the central bank, Keynes argued, can't do anything about it. Because if they put more money into the economy, what are people going to do with it? They're going to sleep on a taller bed. Wow, there's more money. Going to need a bigger mattress. You still find this, by the way, in old houses in the US. Periodically, you will go to renovate them or tear them down. And when you do, you tear off the wallpaper and you find money. People would glue money to the wall and then put wallpaper over it as a way of protecting their money. That's money that's not been in the economy for a very long time. This was not uncommon when I was growing up. I don't think there's too many more houses from 1929 where people have not discovered that there's money behind the wallpaper. But when I was growing up in the 1970s, it was not that unusual for that to happen. You would periodically hear about it. So, in that case, it doesn't matter if you increase the amount of money. It's not going to go into the economy. It's not going to make a difference. And this is called the liquidity trap. Note, this refers both to M and changes in the interest rate. Neither one can change in interest. Neither one can affect the economy the way it normally would. We'll see if I cover interest or not in a later class. I probably won't this year. It gets a little bit too technical for you. Okay, but this means you cannot use the money supply to deal with the recession. So what else can you do? Well, a change in the money supply decreased aggregate demand. What else could possibly increase aggregate demand? Full employment. But that's the problem. We're trying to get to full employment. So how can we get to full employment when people are hoarding all their money? Why? You will see plus I plus G. C has gone down. People aren't consuming as much, and if you give them more money, they will increase their consumption. They'll just have more money. Investment has gone down. Investment has gone down because people don't want to invest in this environment. They're just saving their money, but they're not investing it in anything new. Money in the mattress is not creating new wealth for anybody else. G has gone down. Why has G gone down? Because in order to fund the government, you need tax revenue. But what do we tax? Economic activity. And all this economic activity has gone down, which means tax revenue has gone down, so G has gone down as well. So, how can we get activity to come back? Well, changing money won't do it. Everybody's scared, so consumption's going to stay down. Everybody's scared, so investment is going to be bad. And what can the government do? If this is down, and this is down, the only thing government can directly do is make this go up instead. So you run deficits. That was Keynes' solution to the Great Depression. Run deficits. The government should just run big deficits. And that was the basic concept that the general theory, through a very circuitous, confusing route, got to. Now, Keynes proposed this to governments in the late 1930s. He was actually saying it beforehand. And no, a lot of governments were running deficits. But they were also trying to cut government spending to balance the budget. So they were sort of confused as to what they were doing. But I want to be clear. By 1934-35, governments all over the world were doing all kinds of things to combat the Great Depression. The classical view that we don't do anything and just let it get solved, that had completely disappeared after 5 or 6 years. Everywhere in the world, governments were trying to combat the Great Depression. The problem is that they had no plan. They really had no coherent plan to do something. Keynes is now giving them one. But conversely, the problem with Keynes' plan is it sounds crazy. All right, we're in really tough economic times, and your solution is we should borrow a lot of money and throw a party. That's essentially what Keynes was saying. Did I ever talk to you about the broken window fallacy? No? No? The broken window fallacy. If I want to help the Thai economy, what should I do? I broke a window. I just broke that window.
เราท้ายก็ไปเก็บ
Well, I might not have broken the window, but I definitely broke the pen.
ชิมครับ
Now the rest of the class will be in red. I did it for Thailand. The window's broken. So, what has to happen now? I have to go to BAS and tell them the window's broken. They have to fill out a memo, which goes to the dean, or maybe the rector. I don't know how high up it has to go to get approval to send someone here to look and say, yes, indeed, the window is broken. And then they need to order a new window. But that is a custom-made pane of glass, so they'll have to make a new pane of glass. Which means the glass maker who makes it has to call the sand person to deliver a lot of sand that can be cooked into the glass that can then be shaped and then delivered here in a special truck, and workmen will then install it, and they can stand right there while they do it. So they'll have to find some window they can open, and then on one side, on the other, put it up, caulk it, seal it, etc. Think of how many jobs I created by breaking that window.
คนดี
I should get a raise. Now, is this true? Did the economy gain from this? This comes from an 1851 article by Frederick Bastiat. He's French. Okay, so it's a French word, Bastiat. Frederick Bastiat, 1851. The article is that which is seen and unseen. And he actually uses the example of a broken window. And everything I have told you is true so far. But everything I have talked to you about is the seen. All the things that we can see happening because I broke that window. But here's the thing. All those resources that went to repairing that window are resources that could have gone to creating something new in the economy. I can create something new in the economy, and then the economy has grown. But all the stuff I did there was not to create something new, but simply to replace something that had already existed. When did Thailand, in the last 10 years, when did Thailand have its best quarter of economic growth? In other words, what was the best quarter of growth for your economy in the last 10 years? It was the first quarter of 2012. In 2012, your quarterly economic growth was about double what it was the previous quarter. It was a huge boost to your economic growth. Why? What was going on in the first quarter of 2012? Everybody whose house had been flooded was in the process of fixing their house, buying new refrigerators, repairing their cars, replanting their field, all the things associated with the flood. There's a 4-lane